Good day guys, Tiffany Krishnan here on behalf of New Age Maritime Academy. This video I will intend to share with you regarding how the remote control valves work from ship's office. When you give command or when you operate a valve from the ship's office or cargo control room, how the remote valves work for ballast valves or bilge valves or whatever is approximately how it is working, because we had an issue recently, so just for knowledge sharing. Okay, usually in ship's office you will have, in some ships you will have operations by the computer where you have to click for open close, and in some ships you have buttons or switch for open close. Suppose assuming you have a computer where you have selected a valve, it will open or close. Okay, so open also, if you click you will have an option how much percent to open, that is also there, no? Suppose if this is the computer VRCS panel basically. So suppose if you give open command, what is happening is, here a digital signal goes to the processor unit. Okay, assume this as a processor unit. This is happening through the LAN cable. Okay, processor unit, it is going through the LAN cable. This is the LAN cable. Okay, LAN A, usually two communication system will be there, LAN A, LAN B. So from the processor unit, this is in the ship's office. This you can assume in the ship's office, CCR. Okay, cargo control room. Okay, from the processor unit you will get signal goes to a solenoid valve cabinet in the engine room, where you have the valve control cabinet, we call as valve control cabinet. Basically what is happening is, here you will have something called combi module. Combi module unit, where it receives the signal from here, and then here you have digital to analog converter. Okay, provided if you are operating from PC, this is for PC. Okay, then it gives to the, this is in the ship's office. Okay, this you can assume as ship's office. Here the analog signal, mostly voltage signal, is in this entire this thing you can assume as a solenoid cabinet, goes to the solenoid cabinet, where you have this is the solenoid. Okay, this is a solenoid. Okay, which is having a proportional, you can call it 2/3 proportional mostly, so it's basically a spool here. Okay, proportional valve, basically solenoid operated proportional. So when you give the signal, this solenoid becomes energized. Okay, then what will happen is, in this proportional valve is connected to the hydraulic system of VRCS panel, because inside there is a spool, inside there is a flow of this is basically a direction control valve, where it's having a spool here, something like this, like, you know, okay. So you can assume it as a proportional valve. Basically what is actually happening is, here you have ports. As per the spool change, the direction of the oil, here you have I will tell you one by one with the pressurized system. The proportional actuates the valve module. Valve module, or which is integrated with the accumulator. This is the main line, this is the return line. Like this, lot of cabinets will be there. Okay, this is another solenoid. Like this, for valve numbers accordingly, suppose B51, BV51 or whatever, as per the valve number. Assuming we are looking for only one valve, okay, which is not responding. Suppose first I will tell you the rough idea of the system, then troubleshooting I can just tell accordingly. So what is happening here is, once this, suppose if you give open signal here, and the same one in ship's office, in case if you have a switch type, like a switch type, this is open, this is closed. Suppose if you are giving, this is a switch, this is open position, this is closed position. Suppose if you are giving open command, same, but if it is a switch type, directly it will go to the solenoid. This module is not necessary if the switch type is there. This module is only required only when you have a PC. So ultimately you want to energize the solenoid here. That is what is you want to do. So once the solenoid is energized by the open signal or a closed signal or whatever signal you are giving, what is happening is this will it is combined with the VRCS system, where the pressurized oil is there. You can assume this like a pump. This is a pump, hydraulic oil pump from the hydraulic oil tank. Okay, this is the accumulator, and then it goes to this is a return line. Okay, what is happening in this section is, the pressurized oil this connects to the return line. Okay, inside you have the valve module, you will have, now you got an idea, no? This valve module is having spool, okay, which is integrated with the proportional. So this basically, this thing, the whole unit is a direction control valve, okay, activated by the solenoid valve. This is what is happening. So when you give open command, the pressurized oil goes. Now this is the solenoid valve cabinet, okay. But here, from here, just assuming only one valve, okay. This is the, suppose for bulk carrier people, it goes to the duck keel, where you have all the valves inside the duck keel, right? Especially for bulk carriers I am telling. For tankers also, wherever the valve location is, suppose if this is the valve, if I hold the here. Okay. Okay. This is the valve. On top of the valve there will be a valve actuator. Okay. So the hydraulic pressure acts on the valve actuator, which opens when you give open signal, this line will get pressurized. Okay. When you give closed signal, this line will get pressurized. That's all is happening. Accordingly, the direction here will change, and this is the main line coming from the pump. So, if depending on the signal, everything depends on what signal you are giving, what command basically. So once if you give the open command here, the actuator, as you know, inside the actuator, it is having a ram arrangement. this side, if the oil pushes the ram from here to here or from here to here, the valve will move accordingly. It is designed for that. Suppose assuming if the ram movement is from here, there will be a gearing mechanism. That's, we call this as a valve actuator. Valve actuator. Okay, this is a valve actuator. Okay, so suppose if you are giving open command, the oil goes from here. Here there is a ram. It pushes the ram because this side is pressurized. This side you don't have pressure. So this ram pushes, and this sliding movement is converted into rotary motion, where it is attached to the center of the ram. The ram is attached to the valve shaft. This is the valve shaft. Okay. So accordingly it will open or close. Suppose if you want to open, so the oil goes from here, the valve opens. Once it, after turning the valve, it loses the pressure and then goes back to the system. Okay, this, and then this comes to the tank. This is what is happening. Just a basic outline. This solenoid cabinet, like this, it's having so many valves inside. So what will go wrong mainly? Okay, and another thing is you will have a feedback also. Feedback means once you open, how you are coming to know here, it is telling till somewhere some color indication will come. Okay, there will be some indication. No, how the indication is coming is, options are there. Either there will be a limit switch in the shaft. This shaft comes up to here. You can assume something like this. This goes all the way, assuming this is a ram and actuator arrangement, where you will have a gearing and all. Here you will have a limit switch, or if this the movement, if it is rotary, then there will be a position switch here, or if it is a sliding type of a switch, also it will be, suppose assuming here there is one limit switch, here there is one limit switch, here you have a wheel. Suppose if it touches this limit switch, this is for close or this is for open or whatever, whichever limit switch it is getting touched, this limit switch will again give back the thing to the combi module or whatever is the cabinet. Inside the cabinet it will give the signal. Okay, then goes back to the system. If it is here, there will be another module here for receiving the signal. Okay, there will be one cabinet where you have again you will have analog to digital converter, because this is an analog signal. Whatever the signal, this assume as a limit switch. There is one limit switch here, there is one limit switch here. Once if the shaft touches this side, then this will engage and then this will give open. So this command will go to the analog to digital converter and then go to the cabinet. Okay, then only you will get a digital indication, light indication, basically open or close, or percentage, how much percent. This is one way of getting the feedback. Another way of getting the feedback is, feedback in the sense open or close or whatever signal you gave, how the system has responded, you need to know. No. So another way of achieving the feedback is, you will have a kind of flow meter wheel here. In our ship there is a wheel, flow meter wheel. Suppose it is connected with this also. Okay, so this will operate if you have given open command from here or whichever is the system, the pressurized oil line, the flow meter will turn fully, that wheel will turn fully. Once the wheel turns fully, then you will get an open signal here or here. Okay, if the wheel has turned, suppose you have given full open, okay, full open you have given, but the wheel has turned only 50%. After that it is not able to turn, means it will blink here. Okay, so like that it is there. I'm just giving some rough examples of getting a feedback. Lot of mechanisms are there to give the feedback. Like I told, limit switch mechanism was there. If the actual movement of the valve touches the limit switch, then only you will have the feedback. Okay, just a rough idea of the system. And this is the accumulator. Wherever accumulator will have up to here, there will be hydraulic oil, the same system oil. Here there will be nitrogen. Wherever you have pressure pulses, in whichever system you have the pressure pulse, where you have a proportional and spool arrangement with high pressure oil is about 200 bar. Okay, this system is always under pressure. The pump is in auto. So whenever the valve opens at a time, if you are opening 1 or 2 valves at a time, there will be a pressure drop. The pump cuts off automatically. Okay. So accumulator, the job is wherever the pressure pulse is there, it acts for cushioning the system, basically. The system should not get damaged due to the pressure pulses happening here. There is a lot of variation happening here, no? Because pressurized oil is going inside the proportional valve and the valve cabinet, the valve proportional and the operation is also very quick. So for cushioning the system and to maintain the pressure, basically for both, we have accumulator. Okay, so this is just an overall idea of the system I am giving you. Here you will have troubles like, suppose if you have given open indication, valve is still blinking. Here you have an LED light. Here you have an LED light. You have given open indication. You have switched suppose if the valve was closed, you have opened it. You have given the open command, but here the light is still blinking. So the first thing is to send one fellow the duck keel. First thing is to start from the solenoid cabinet actually. I'm sorry. First, whether the solenoid is getting energized or not. That is the first thing you have to check. Whether the signal is coming here to the solenoid. First thing, this has to energize, no? Because there is another way. There is one manual push button here at the proportional valve. There is a manual push button. Open, you can assume as close. If you press this manually, then whatever the solenoid, you are manually energizing the spool by pressing the spool. You are manually actually energizing the solenoid. Okay. What is happening here? Suppose if you give open command, but when the light is blinking, first see whether the solenoid is getting energized. If the solenoid is getting energized, okay, and still the valve is not moving, means look at what is happening here by sending some man at the local valve. What is happening? Whether the valve is actually turning or not. If the solenoid comes here, if the solenoid is getting energized here, signal is coming. Signal you can also check by means of LEDs. If the solenoid is energized, if you get the signal here, there will be LED light blinking. The LED blinks only when you give the command. Otherwise, the LED light won't blink. So, if the light is blinking, means command has been received. So, solenoid is getting energized, and of course, you can check with the screwdriver also if the solenoid is energized or not. Once if the solenoid is energized, if there is no response here, even after energizing the solenoid, try to do manually. If it is happening manually, only if it is not happening with the solenoid, something wrong in this spool. So you change only this block. Okay. If there is no power happening here, if the solenoid itself is not getting energized, see whether this solenoid is getting just replaced with the new solenoid and see how the system is working. Because if the solenoid malfunctions also, it won't get energized, no. Suppose if the signal is coming here, or so these two troubleshooting you are aware now. Now suppose if you are operating the valve manually but still there is no movement here, then what you do is there will be one more emergency operating hydraulic pump. With that also local operation. This is remote, no? So for local operation you will have one hand pump. Use this hand pump. You will have a connection here. I'm just drawing in a rough way. This inlet and this is return. Okay, and see whether the valve is turning freely. The valve has to turn freely using the hand pump. This is also a hydraulic pump. You will have a arrangement here for emergency connection. You will have an adapter at the actuator. Okay, ultimately the valve can be turned by the actuator, or if it is a small valve, you try to put the spanner here. Okay, after disconnecting and all, see every valve you will have isolation valve also for inlet and outlet. Okay, to do maintenance, and bypass also may be there. This for you to do maintenance. You have to see the system. So what will happen is, suppose if you manually if you are able to open either by pump or by hand, because bigger valves you cannot open by hand, you have to use the hand pump. If using the hand pump, hydraulic pump, if it is local emergency hydraulic pump, if it is opening freely, that means and the solenoid also is getting energized and manual operation is also happening, then you see whether you can change this valve module. One by one you have to see how to troubleshoot depending on your system. Usually the problem will be in the valve module. In case if it is suppose if manual operation from here also not happening, but solenoid is also not energizing, then you can change the solenoid. Now solenoid is getting energized, but here there is no response. There is no flow here. Basically you want the line to flow. No, you should have pressure in this line if you give the command. Suppose this is for open. Okay, so as I told you, you have given open command, but this line is not getting pressurized, means this valve module block you have to replace. Okay, you can overhaul the block also. The valve module will be having lot of there will be a overall kit. Using that you can overhaul the module also, but for emergency I am telling, replace the module, then it should work. In case if the local emergency hydraulic pump operation, if it is satisfactory, from here it is not happening, means you can change the module. Okay, usually because what happens, if the solenoid is not getting energized, if you press manually, it should turn. You don't need to use this also. If it is turning from here, no need to use this, no. But if this also is not happening, your manual push button, I am telling this manual push button at the proportional. I hope you have got a rough idea. Here you will have a manual push button. Open at the end, at the block, assuming this is a block. This gives this thing. Okay, so if here everything is okay, but if it is not moving, and even after hydraulic pump, if you are, then you can do another way of troubleshooting. Another problem you can face is solenoid is getting energized. This also is not, this you are pushing, but still valve is not able to move. Then you try with the emergency pump, still the valve is not able to move, means valve is you need to overhaul the valve. Otherwise you need to overhaul the actuator also. If the actuator is stuck, immediately don't go for the valve, first get the actuator overhauled. Maybe it would have been stuck. Okay, you can remove the actuator separately from the valve, then overhaul it, then just try out again. If even after actuator, another way of seeing is, remove the actuator and then you can give the command whether the RAM is moving. Just I told you, no, this is the actuator. Just assume, and this is the valve. Okay, something like this. You can remove this actuator. Actuator is having connections. Remove the actuator from its place. Connect the oil supply. Okay. Give command from local hand pump or through this thing. It's better to from the hand pump. But if the actuator is moving, means actuator is free, because the actuator is the one which is turning the valve. Okay, so if the actuator is free, then still the valve is not moving, means after removing the actuator, you have already checked after removing the actuator, but actuator there is a free movement. Okay, but it is not able to turn the valve. So what you do is you see whether you can put a spanner here and then see if you can do something. If it is a small valve, if it is a big valve, you have to overhaul. There's no other option. Overhauling this big valve in the duct keel is a very major task. So these are the troubleshootings. These are the different types of troubles you can experience in the system. Another thing is you have given open command. Now I hope you have understood. You have seen what to do with how to troubleshoot if the solenoid is problem is an issue, or the block is an issue, or the actuator is an issue, or the valve is an issue. Another issue what will happen is you have given open command, but valve has actually opened. Somebody has here also you have the indication. As I told you, here in case if you have an indication unit from here itself, you can cross check whether what is happening here. If it has turned, means the valve has turned. So what will happen is, suppose I am telling about the indication issues now. As I told you before, the valve actuator will be having a limit switch. Suppose if this is the actuator, this is the valve. I'm just giving a rough drawing here. So here you have a limit switch where the wheel is there, any slide movement is there, you have a limit switch. If the limit switch is not functioning properly also, if you have a kind of feedback system using limit switch, if the limit switch is not functioning properly also, the indication you won't get properly. There the indication issue may happen. But actually the valve was closed. That you can confirm either by locally also, or another way of confirming is some systems you can confirm with the solenoid cabinet itself. Okay. So this is the thing which I wanted to let you know, because these things are all like just for knowledge sharing. I don't know how far they will be asking you in the exams and all. If you give command and if the valve is not operating, what will be your next step? I don't know, but I'm just telling you all these things for sharing my troubleshooting, because these things used to happen very frequently for us. So just want to let you know. And any other trouble? As I told you, suppose if the command itself is not going, you change to, in case if you have a PC, you change over the network cable to another, if the LAN cable also, if it is damaged, the signal won't go to the solenoid. Okay. Suppose if the signal is not going to the solenoid, as I drew before, LAN cable also may be an issue. Usually nothing happens to the motherboard, because the motherboard and all is common. So if only one valve is happening like that, you cannot. I'm telling the processor unit basically. Usually issue won't be happening there. LAN cable also, mostly the issue won't happen, because LAN cable also is a common line only. So mostly the problem will be with the solenoid or the valve block or the actuator or the valve body or the feedback mechanism. So sometimes that's why it is better to restart these systems as recommended by the makers. Okay, every 3 months, because it's a complicated network. This VRCS, it requires the system to get refreshed in between for proper functioning. Anyway guys, I hope this video will be useful to you. Thanks for listening. Thank you.